भक्तिरूप्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च दत्तानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत-सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। आराधयो भगवान् ब्रजेशतनयस्तद्धाम वृन्दावनम्। रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधू वर्गेण वा कल्पिता। श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेम पुमार्थो महान्। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्रादराना परा। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees. Thank you so much for joining. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 10, Chapter 29, entitled Lord Kṛṣna and the Gopis Meet for the Raas Dance. And we have read till text 14. Let's read this verse, which we do before. Naham vipro na cha narapate napi vaishyo na shudro Naham varni na cha grihapate no vanasto yatirva Kintu prodhyam nikhila paramananda purnamritabdir Gopir bharatur padkamalayor das das dasanudas. I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya or a Shudra, nor am I a Brahmachari, a householder, a Vanaprastha or a sannyasi. I identify myself as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Śrī Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He's like an ocean of nectar, and he's the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He's always existing with brilliance. Hare Krishna. So, thank you, dear Vaishnavas, for your kind association. We are reading Canto 10, Chapter 29, text 15. Kamam krodham bhayam sneham aikyam sauhridam evacha Nityaṁ harao vidadhato yanti tan mayatam hite. Okay. We read 14?
Guruji, from 14.
From 14. Okay, I'm sorry. Nrinam nishreyasyaarthya vyaktir bhagavato nripa avyayasya pramiyasya nirgunasya gunatmanaha. Translation and purport of the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Prabhupada disciples ki Jai. O King, the Supreme Lord is inexhaustible and immeasurable, and he is untouched by material modes because he is their controller. His personal appearance in this world is meant for bestowing the highest benefit on humanity. purport. Since Lord Krishna descends to benefit mankind in general, why would he neglect innocent young girls who loved him more than anyone else did? Although the Lord awards himself to his pure devotees, he is avyaya, inexhaustible, because he is aprameya, immeasurable. He is also nirguna, free from material qualities, and thus those who intimately associate with him are on the same spiritual platform. He is Gunatmana, he is Gunatma, the controller or original personality behind the modes of nature. And it is specifically for this reason that he is free of them. In other words, because the modes of nature are his energy, they cannot act upon him. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear Subala Prabhu, Baldev Prabhu, Raghu Prabhu, Shiroma Mataji, and Priti Mataji for your kind, wonderful association to read, hear, discuss Bhagavatam. Shukdev Goswami is replying to King Parikshit's question that basically Krishna, this exchange is not a material exchange, right? The question was, Parikshit Maharaj is asking on behalf of others who were present, that it appears to be a material, like, young girls running after young boy, it appears to be a activity in the material modes. Normally, someone in the mode of passion and ignorance would do, like people go to maybe nightclubs, casinos, and woman hunters and all that. That's a very, very tuchha or very, very degraded. So, but here, very, very clearly answered that two words are used. Krishna is avyaya, inexhaustible, and immeasurable. We're not talking about some ordinary, mundane child or mundane boy, girl. We're talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest truth, avyaya. Krishna is called avyaya or inexhaustible, the reason you're mentioned by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, because he gives himself to each and every devotee and he is never depleted. Let's say if we have our time or energy, let's say I want to talk to 50 devotees, but can I do it in one day? Probably not, right? Because I have, let's say, 2 hours of time. Maybe even if I quickly do, it's not possible because I am limited. But Krishna can be with thousands of queens and millions of devotees together. He is inexhaustible. He's never depleted. Om Purnam Ada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vishishyate. Right? Comes from the one complete, comes many complete, still always remains complete. So Krishna, and that's true for bhakti also. That's true for anything spiritual. Like material thing we share, it will be depleted. If someone has, let's say, 20 silver coins, right? They give one to their friend, one to their relative, one to this, one to that, and then ultimately they have zero. But if someone shares bhakti or Krishna consciousness with others, because it is, or holy name, or Krishna katha, or Krishna prasadam, it will never be depleted. Rather, it will grow more. 1 plus 1 becomes, this is spiritual mathematics. 1 minus 1 is also 1. 1 plus 1 is, so it's not depleted, in short. Anything connected to Krishna, rather Krishna says, if, today we kicked off the marathon in Tampa, also the Gita Jayanti. It's a beautiful opportunity to share Krishna consciousness. This will help us to grow in our own Krishna consciousness. It's a spiritual thing. Krishna will be happy. Krishna says, anyone who shares this message with others is most dear to me. And in doing so, our bhakti will grow because it's not a material thing. If we share a material thing, it will fade away. It will be depleted. But we're talking about avyaya. There is no loss on this path. There is nothing. But in what way is Krishna so? Someone may ask. Then Krishna, the answer is given, the word aparameyasya, which means immeasurable. Krishna is immeasurable because he's untouched by material qualities. Nirguna. Guna means quality. Now the Mayavadi philosophers say, no, Nirguna means one who does not have any qualities. That's not the meaning here. The meaning here is the one who does not have material qualities. His qualities are completely pure Satchidananda. Krishna is the ocean of qualities. Samasta guna gana dhama. Right? In the Bhavarishesha. He's not like shunya qualities. He's the ocean of spiritual qualities, not material qualities, and filled with transcendental spiritual qualities. Gunatmana. Gunatma. Guno ki atma. Like qualities personified. He's the ocean. All the qualities are coming from him. So therefore he said immeasurable. We cannot measure. With our eyes we cannot see. With our material eyes we cannot see. With our, material instruments we cannot measure Krishna. He's immeasurable. Like Mata Yashoda, right? The famous Damodar month we just went. Mata Yashoda was trying to bind. Of course, Krishna didn't want to be bind at that time, but later, seeing the love, the immeasurable also becomes measurable. So this is the beautiful verse Shukdev Goswami is answering to clarify Parikshit Maharaj's question, that basically he is the ocean of qualities. All the modes come from him. How can he be caught up in those modes? That's the point. What to speak of? I was reading a verse in the Bhagavad Gita today amongst the 140 verses. My attention went to one of the verse. It is mentioned that one who knows about Krishna gets free from all the material qualities. Right? One who knows about Krishna is free from all material qualities. What to speak of Krishna? Because Krishna is free from all material qualities. Therefore, knowing about Krishna also makes one free from all material qualities. So how can that person who is freeing others just by getting, some contact with him, one gets free from? So how can that person be caught up in? For example, if there is a friend of, let's say, some rich person, any CEO or these big, companies, let's say a friend of Warren Buffett, right? We say, oh, he's a friend of Warren Buffett. Now, do you expect him to be like begging on the street? No. Just because he has some connection with Warren Buffett, we don't expect him to be begging on the street. That means he will be free from poverty. Because Warren Buffett has, let's say, a lot of money. So his friend would have a good chunk also. So it's a very mundane example, but just to understand that concept. One who is connected to Krishna is free from the material modes. Can the Supreme Lord be under the material modes? No, impossible. Hare Krishna. Any other thoughts, comments anyone has?
Yeah, I have just one comment.
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Yeah, Krishna is Nirguna, but he's also the controller of material qualities, in the sense that he's not touched by them, but those of us who are not as advanced, we are touched by that. So he's, in a way, he's controlling the material qualities which don't affect him at all. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And that form of Lord, right? Actually, that form of Lord which comes in contact with the material qualities is who's going to complete this?
Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva. Kshiram yatha dadivikara. Like the milk, when it comes in contact with that acid, it turns into yogurt. So basically, Lord Shiva is the controller of the material world, and his wife Parvati, Durga, right? So basically, it's the form of Lord Vishnu only. Lord Vishnu transforms, so Shiva is the expansion of Lord Vishnu, who is in charge of material world. So in one way, he is controlling, but that form is Lord Shiva. So ultimately, everything is his energy. Yes. Does that help?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I understand.
Let me bring our attention to one beautiful verse from chapter 9 of Gita. Maybe someone can read 9.5. This is open, a verse in the translation. Anyone wants to read? Yeah, please.
Nachamat sthani bhutani pasya me yogam aishwaryam bhuta prana cha bhutesto mamatma bhuta bhava. Translation: the proposed is the clearance from Śrī Caitanya. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold, O mystic opulence, although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Thank you.
Actually, these two verses kind of go together, right? 9.4 and 5. Because here Krishna is saying, Maya tatam idam sarvam. That everything is pervaded, the entire universe is pervaded in my unmanifested form. And all beings are in me, but I am not in them. Matsthani sarva bhutani. All beings are in me, but I am not sure ham tesha avasthita. But look at this verse now. Krishna is saying, Nacha matsthani bhutani. Isn't that like, okay, let's go back to this. Oh, what is he saying here? Here he's saying matsthani sarva bhutani. But over here it says Nacha. So it's a little confusing. Basically, the point is that ultimately, again, it's like simultaneously oneness and difference. Yes, ultimately, he is the cause of all causes. Yes, Matsthani Sarvabhutan. But at the same time, he's not directly involved in this aspect of, right? So it has different energies. Yes, he is the maintainer, right? But it's not, for example, a building contractor. A building, someone who has a big construction company, right? Big construction company owner. Now, do we expect him to be lifting bags of sand and water and putting, like plaster or putting drywall and all that stuff? Do we expect? What would he be doing? Maybe he would be in some Switzerland, in some resort or something, right? In some holiday. And he would have 10 layers of employees, hierarchical, like the CEO and president and chief operations officer and managers, senior managers, and then a lot of daily, like hands-on, like front-end workers. So yes, it's this building construction is happening under his direction, but at the same time, he's not involved, right? So just again, a mundane example to help understand that connection. Is that okay, Raghu, Prabhu?
Yeah, right. I mean, Vishnu, for instance, he's in a yoga nidra. He's sleeping on Anatasesha, the snake. So he has nothing to do with all this. This is the way it looks, but still he has everything to do with what's all going on.
Yes. Just by his breathing, exhalation, Anantakoti Brahmanda are coming out. Right? Just by his, that's the power of Lord, right? And then in each Brahmanda, then there is further Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, then Lord Brahma and others, etc. So ultimately, yeah, that's correct.
Another simple example, probably like a prison under government, but hardly any government head visits the prison.
Absolutely, yeah, like the Prime Minister or the President. It's ultimately working under their direction. Thank you. Very nice, relevant example. Okay, text 15. Anyone wants to read? Ms. Raghu Prabhu, you want to read?
Thank you. I can read. Hare Krishna devotees, text 15. Kamam krodam bhayam sneham akyam saurdam evacha Nityaṁ harau vidadato yanti tan mayatam hite. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Jai to the disciples and Sri Prabhupada. Persons who constantly direct their lust, anger, fear, protective affection, feeling of impersonal oneness, or friendship toward Lord Hari are sure to become absorbed in thought of him. Lord Kṛṣṇa is pure spiritual existence, and those who somehow or other become attached to him, absorbed in thoughts of him, rise to the spiritual platform. This is the absolute nature of the Lord's personal association. With this verse, Sukadeva Goswami answers King Parikshit's question about the Gopis. After all, Sukadeva has begun to narrate Krishna's most intimate pastime, the Rasa dance, and Parikshit is cooperating to remove the doubts of others who are hearing or who in the future may hear this astonishing story. Srila Madhavacharya has quoted a statement from the Skanda Purana that emphatically declares like the Gopis, to be liberated souls beyond the pale of material illusion. Bhaktya hi nitya kam mittavam natu muktim vina bhave atha kamitya kamitaya vapi muktir bhakti matam harav. Eternal conjugal attraction to Krishna expressed in pure devotional service cannot develop in one who is not already liberated. Thus, those who are devoted to Lord Hari, even in conjugal attraction, are already liberated. Srila Madhavacharya then quotes from the Padma Purana to clarify the essential point that one cannot be liberated simply by lusting after Lord Krishna, but rather only by possessing conjugal attraction in pure devotional service. Sneha bhakta sada devaha kamitsena prasara striya kaschin na kamena bhaktya kevalaya yavatu. The demigods are always affectionately devoted to the Lord, and the young ladies of heaven called Apsaras have lusty feelings towards him, although some of them are pure devotion for him, untainted by material lust. Only these latter Apsaras are ready for liberation, because without bona fide devotional service, one cannot possibly achieve liberation. Shall I stop here? Or?
Yeah, maybe it's a longer purport.
Yeah, okay. So I think in this, Sukadeva Goswami is again mentioning that he answered the question about the material, how the Gopis didn't have, just by lusting for Krishna, they didn't have the material. How did they get rid of the material attachments? I think that was the question. So here it says that Madhavacharya also confirms that the attraction of the Gopis to the Krishna is not just lust, but it is also they have pure devotional service to the Lord. So if you have just one, as some of the Apsaras do, then it's not sufficient. I think it's a sufficient and necessary condition. I suppose you can say it that way. So here, in a way, the Gopis, by developing the lust, it's a pure lust only for Krishna. So in that case, that are also expressed as a devotional service, devotion to the Lord. That's what I understand from this. Please correct me. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We'll complete the purport and take some more thoughts. Preeti Mataji, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Okay. I again lost it where we were. But thus devotional service is not yogyam or appropriate unless free from material lust. One should not take cheaply the Gopis' achievement of personal association with Lord Krishna in a conjugal relationship. To show the gravity of direct relationship with the Lord, Srila Madhavacharya has quoted the following verses from the Varaha Purana. Patitvena Shriyo Pasyo Brahmana me piteti cha Pita Mahataya Nesyam Tridasanam Janardanah. The goddess Lakshmi worships Lord Janardan as her husband. Lord Brahma worships him as his father, and the other demigods worship him as their grandfather. prapti prap, praptimaho me bhagwan iti sarva janasya tu gruhu Shri Brahmano Vishnu Suranam cha Gurur Guruh. Thus, people in general should think the Supreme Lord is my great grandfather. Lord Vishnu is the spiritual master of Brahma and thus the Guru of the demigods. Gurur Brahmasya Jagato Devam Vishnu Sanatana iti evo pasanam karyam nanyatha tu kathanchana. Brahma is the spiritual master of this universe and Vishnu is the eternally worshipable deity. With this understanding and not otherwise, one should worship the Lord. The above injunctions apply to Sarvajana, all people in general. Thus, one should follow these injunctions until one achieves the exalted platform of intimate relationship with the Supreme Lord. There is abundant evidence that the gopis of Vrindavana were highly elevated, liberated souls, and thus their pastimes with Kṛṣṇa are pure spiritual affairs. Keeping this in mind, we can truly understand this chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Prabhuji, I have a question. While I was reading, I still don't understand what does conjugal attraction means. Like, what does that term mean?
Basically, it means the Madhurya Rasa. You know Madhurya Rasa? Okay. It's relating to marriage or love between a boy, a couple, husband, wife, boy, girl.
Okay.
Now, in the Madhurya Rasa, there is like Parakya Rasa and Swakiya Rasa. Swakiya is like Kṛṣṇa and the queens of Dwarka, like they were married. And the Parakya is the Kṛṣṇa and the Gopis. So it's even in that Madhurya Rasa, there are like levels. And we know Vrindavan is the place of toppers. All the first class devotee in every rasa, they are in Vrindavan. Whether it's Vatsalya Rasa as parent, whether it's friendship, whether it's others and conjugal or Madhurya Rasa, the gopis. So that's a conjugal meaning.
Okay.
But again and again, Srila Prabhupada and his disciples are kind of reminding us what? There is abundant evidence that the gopis were highly elevated, liberated souls. So their pastimes are pure and spiritual affair. This we have to keep in mind. Keeping this in mind, we can truly understand this chapter. Otherwise, we will misunderstand. Otherwise, it's ordinary exchanges between boy and girl, or will increase our lust, are very degrading to talk about, see, or discuss. And no sane people discuss that, right? Lusty, uncivilized people, they talk about it, right? They relish that, right? Talking about, that's what all movies are full of, right? Hero, heroine, actor, actress, some love story, some, boy running behind girl running behind boy, there is some suspense or some, it's all materialistic gossip, in short. And there is nothing spiritual there. And one's consciousness is basically degraded after watching, hearing, discussing, or anything. But here, who is talking about this subject? Shukdev Goswami, Narad Muni, Brahma, Suta Goswami, Ved Vyasa. Now, these are like the best of the renunciates who have completely given up Maya. Maya could not touch these devotees. Prabhupada, Maya could not touch. Why are they taking delight in discussing this matter? That's another reason. Like as we were talking, there are abundant reasons. That's one of the other reasons also. That this is not a mundane subject matter. This is a purely transcendental subject matter. Provided one sees with those eyes. Otherwise, if we see with just some mundane eyes, and then it will be just a mundane affair. Therefore, we should. And then many people make songs, many people accuse, oh, I'm following Krishna's footsteps. Krishna was running after girls. I am also running after girls, right? Krishna did Raas Lila with so many girls. So what is wrong if I am going in the club and dancing with girls? That's pure nonsense logic. If someone says that, okay, then why don't you kill Putana and lift the mountain first, right? So why would all these great acharyas like Madhavacharya, so many verses are being quoted, Sri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, why would, they spend their time and energy? They had given up their everything, for mundane thing. No, this is pure bhakti. We need to see with that vision, with those eyes of devotion. Any other thoughts?
You just mentioned that among all rasas, so Vrindavan devotees are the topmost. So what is the example for the Shakho Rash in Vrindavan pastimes?
Okay. All these friends, Krishna's Gopa friends are like, Tumi kono bada log, tumi ami sam, right? They are punching Krishna, feeding jhuta, riding on his back, and like doing wrestling, right? I saw a video.
That's for the Shakham, but the Dashyam.
Dasyam was there. Raktak, Vaktak, what's her name?
Raktak and Chittak.
Raktak, Chitrak. There are Krishna's assistants. And ultimately, the Dasya, the higher moods cover the lower moods, the moods, certainly. Even this Nalkuver and Manigriva, the other day, we didn't get a chance to discuss, but they also later become wonderful devotees. This comes in the, and they were singing the glories of Krishna. So, yes. Is that okay? Raktak, Chitrak. These two names come. Like, for example, let's think about Nand Maharaj is the king. Now, king has so many servants, right? To take care of their family members, right? So, of course, they had so many servants. Now they cannot be like, they care for the baby, but like there's still that hierarchy. Oh, he's my master, right? They're not taken care of like as a friend or as so
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, sorry.
Prabhuji, what is the rasa or relationship between Krishna, Balaram in Vrindavan? What rasa there?
Well, that's a beautiful question. Balramji has a very, very special relationship. And he expands as in all the rasas, actually. He expands in all the rasas. So sometimes he is, acting as a, like all the paraphernalia, even all the paraphernalia is also expansion of Balramji. And Balramji is playing with Krishna, so he's acting as a friend also. Balramji is the elder brother, and we know elder brother sometimes may get strict like a father, so it's like a vatsalya rasa. He comes with the complaint. Ekada kridamanast. What was that? Ekada kridamanaste ramadya gopadaraka krishnamridam bhakshitva iti matra navedayan. Balramji comes and says, "Oh, Maya, your baby is eating dirt." Mridam bhakshitva, when they were playing, right? So he acts like a brother. He sometimes pulls Krishna's leg, sometimes chastises him. So Shantirasa, he expands as the slippers, crowns, jewelry. Rajamandal actually is the expansion of Balram. So Shantirasa, Dasirasa, Vatsalya Rasa, we discuss as a parent. Sakya Rasa, playing with him. They would play, they would imitate peacocks, they would play with balls and Madhurya Rasa, Shri Radharani's younger sister, whose name is Ananga Manjari, is the expansion of Balram as well. So in short, he has a very special role as Sevaka Bhagavan. There is a beautiful verse in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, I believe, that, yes, Sarva avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tahara Dvitiya Deha Shri Balaram Ekai Swarupa Dohe Bhinna Matra Kai Adya Kaya Vyo Krishna Lila Rasahai. Right? I just opened up in case someone wants to see this. Sarva avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna is Sarva avatari. Tahara Advitiya Deha. Unika second body, second expansion is Balram. Ekai Swarupa. Swarup Eki. They're both Supreme Lord. Bhinna Matra Kaya. Kaya different. Body is different. Krishna Balaram. One is white complexion, like a moon, and one is dark complexion. Adya Kaya Vyo Krishna Lila Rasahaya. Lila means Sahaya. He assists in all the rasas in Krishna's pastime, as a friend, as a father, as a brother, as a in many, many ways. So okay. Read next verse, text 16. Manjari Priya is going to read. Is that okay, Mataji? Your question is answered?
Yes, Prabhuji, you beautifully explained all the rasas. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you much. Text 16.
Na chaivam vismaya karyo bhavata bhagavate aje yogeshwareshware krishne yata etad muchyate. You should not be so astonished by Kṛṣṇa, the unborn master of all masters of mystic power, the supreme personality of Godhead. After all, it is the Lord who liberates this world. Purport: Parikshit Maharaj should not have been so astonished that Lord Krishna's so-called romantic affairs are in fact meant to liberate the entire universe. After all, that is the Lord's purpose, to bring all conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. The Lord's conjugal affairs with the Gopis fit in very nicely with that program, because we who are actually lusty in material consciousness can be purified and liberated by hearing of them. In the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1.5.33, Narad Muni states, Amayo yascha bhutanam jayate yena subrata tad eva he amayam dravyam napanati chikitsitam. O good soul, does not a thing applied therapeutically cure a disease that was caused by that very same thing? Thus, Krishna's romantic affairs, being pure spiritual activities, will cure those who hear about them of the disease of material lust.
Hare Krishna. Wow. This is really a kind of out of the world reason why Krishna expands or does these pastimes. Right? So what's the unique reason here? Anyone? Yeah, to reclaim the conditioned souls who are primarily afflicted by this material lust. And their natural propensity is what? Hear about affairs of material, boy, girl, husband, wife. So in Hindi, you may have heard this, loha lohe ko kaatta, right? You heard this? In this Canto 1 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Narad Muni mentions you may have seen this, I think I've heard this for poison, like Bhima's story, right? Bhima was fed poisonous cakes and thrown in the water, right? And then in the water snakes bit him. And actually that was a perfect antidote for the poison, right? So poison cuts poison, iron cuts iron. So that's the point here, as Narad Muni is quoting, a disease that was caused by the very same thing. So Krishna's romantic affairs, they are very pure. But people in the material world are attached to romance, lust. This will cure those who hear about them of what disease? Material lust. Kama. Shipatascha kamadi tarang madhye. काम की तरंग में जो फंसे पड़े हैं. Somehow or the other hear about Krishna. That's the point. Now, although we know that if someone hears, if someone approaches Krishna with this attitude, oh, let me hear about the romantic affairs of Krishna. It's not a very healthy approach, but again, what to do? If someone is so degraded, thinking Krishna is an ordinary boy and running after ordinary girls, but still they will get something, right? But if someone hears from the right sources, from the right gurus, in the right mood, the benefit would be much, much more. And that's what Prabhupada mentions many, many times. Do not artificially try to jump to Rasa Lila and this romance and this. Otherwise, we'll misunderstand or misconclude Krishna's pastimes. So Prabhupada cautions us at multiple places. Any other comments anyone wants to add? Any comments, additions, questions? Okay, let's read text 17. It's a short verse. So anyone would like to read this?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Also, devotees, Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Text 17. Ta drishta bantikam ayota Bhagavan brajo joshita abodad badantam sesto vacho peshir bhimo. Translation purport by the devotees of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Seeing that the girls of Braja had arrived, Lord Krishna, the best of speakers, greeted them with charming words that bewildered their minds. Purport. Having established the spiritual nature of the Gopis' love for Krishna, Shukdev Goswami proceeds with his narration. Back to Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Very well. So all these verses in the middle, you know, Shukdev Goswami was basically answering the questions of Parikshit Maharaj, ensuring that this is not some mundane activity. It's purely spiritual, transcendental, and the gopis are completely liberated souls, full of devotion, full of unlimited love for the Supreme Lord. And Krishna also is completely nirguna or beyond material qualities. So he took decent time, right? And that's also a great learning, right? So we have to see our audience. So we have to see our audience and accordingly spend time to clarify their doubts or questions. Sometimes they may ask, sometimes they may not ask. This is an important lesson, especially for those who like to speak Krishna Katha. How Shukdev Goswami is, where he's pausing, where he's like going deeper, where he's like rushing through, right? Where Prabhupada's disciples are giving more purports, where Prabhupada is elaborating more. So that's how our mood should also develop, following in the footsteps and of the acharyas, of the predecessors. What we need to rush, what we need to pause, where we need to spend more time, where questions may arise, where misunderstandings may arise, to clarify. So now finally they have arrived, right? They have arrived. Supreme, where did they arrive? At the peak of night in the Vamsivat tree, correct? They left their homes, they left their shelter, they left their comfort, they left their babies who were young and they needed mother's milk. They were cooking, some of them were baking breads and whatnot. They left that in the oven, let it burn. Some of them were boiling milk, left that, let it boil forever. Their heat of separation was so strong they could not wait for a moment. What's that? Yugaitam nimishena chakshusha pravrishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahim. A moment of separation from Krishna appears to be like 12 years or more. They didn't want to wait any moment. This was their love. Pure love. So What did Krishna say to them when they arrived? We will see that tomorrow. But here we can appreciate the risk which the gopis had taken. Correct? The gopis, did gopis take a risk? They took the biggest of the risk. For a woman, what is more important than security, than her family, than her husband and children? Is anything more important to her? The family, the security, the young child, the husband, is anything, the parents-in-laws, the home, right? Nothing is more important than all that. They left all of that. They left all of that. This is what Prabhupada also encourages, that we should take some risk. Of course, we are not saying to artificially imitate that. Did Prabhupada take a risk? Prabhupada left the safe comfort of Radha Damodar temple. There were nice sadhus there, devotees, God family, deities, Vrindavan, Rajraj, Prasad, everything was nice. He came here at the old age in such a cold country with no resources, nothing, no supporters, no family, no disciples. Left everything, such a big risk. And anywhere we see, this today marks the beginning of the as I was saying, officially we launched the ISKCON Tampa Gita Jayanti program. I was hearing, if we see the life of any sincere devotee, any serious committed devotee, anyone whom you think is spiritually advanced, or anyone whom you think is trying to be spiritually advanced, Maharaj said one thing is very common, or he observed this. I'm just sharing his reflections. He observed that they are seriously engaged in sharing the mission of Lord Chaitanya. They are seriously engaged in sharing. I mean, because Krishna personally says, those who try to share, I am most dear to them. So that also means to get out in the sense, get out of the comfort zone. Gopis took such a big risk. They really got out of their comfort zone. So if we stay in the comfort zone, then we will not attain Krishna. We have to get out of the comfort zone, not be in the panic zone, but be in the stretch zone. That's where the growth happens. That's where the challenge happens. That's where the new experience happens. That's where the fun is. That's where the spiritual, mercy awaits. So we should get out, touch the pavement, right? As Vishishka Prabhu says, touch the pavement. Touch the pavement means get out, go to the street, share books, share Krishna Katha, share Prasad, invite others for program. Now, especially this month of December after Kartik, let's try to distribute as many books, as many Bhagavad Gitas, as many spiritual literatures as we can. Touch the pavement. Subala Prabhu organizes so many nice MSFs. He gets all the book and all the resources. All we have to do is touch the pavement, So please inspire each other, inspire others to join the mission, to take the risk. And we are not taking the risk like Prabhupada did or the gopis did, right? Our risk is what? Our risk is, the more we take risk, the more we are dependent on Krishna's mercy. The risk is our risk is very little. Oh, so what if someone says, no, I don't want Gita? That's a little risk we are taking. What if someone says, no, 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 you guys are doing this time-based and someone can... This is nothing compared to the risk which our acharyas have taken, given up their life and soul. So let's develop this spirit, keep inspiring each other and ourselves, keep the enthusiasm high. You all did so many wonderful programs in the month of Kartik. Now it's a beautiful month of, which is very dear to Prabhupada, the month of Gita Marathon. Let's try to distribute, let's think of novel ways. How can we distribute more books? How can we share more Gita? MSF is just one of those, though it's not the only way to share Gita. There are many, many ways to share Gita. So with that, I'll pause. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? And we'll see what Kṛṣṇa speaks tomorrow or maybe Monday.
Prabhuji, just on that part, I would like to share something. I pledged to my own self that since Gita Jayanti is coming and we want to gift few, like as many as we can, but I took an oath for 10 Bhagavad Gitas and I spreaded message among my friends, and I'm happy to share that I've already got 3 people who have asked for Bhagavad Gita. So I'm trying to achieve my oath by 22nd of December.
Haribol, Haribol, this is amazing. Absolutely. This is great, Mataji.
I just wanted to share since we were talking about it. So I just wanted to share that.
Your pledge is your wedge. As Vishika Prabhu says that. You know, a wedge, if you're going uphill, have you seen they put a wedge so that the truck
Yeah.
or the car doesn't come down,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So your pledge will help us to not slip back, rather keep going up in the path of bhakti.
Right.
And as you rightly mentioned, let's make it a numerical number. Like ISKCON Tampa team has a goal of 1,008. And if everyone does their part, so think of some numerical number. Anything above 0 and less than 1 is great.
Yeah.
Anything above 0 and not less than 1, sorry. Yeah. So we'll continue. We have a few weeks, so I'm sure we can all do this together and inspire others also who may not be on this call. So devotees are really, I mean, the devotees are really very, very enthusiastic to distribute Gitas in this month. I know when I was in Faridabad last year, devotees, Mataji's, Prabhuji's kids, small kids going door to door, going to grocery stores and malls and, trying every bit wherever potential people can be found, right? Sharing Gitas, distributing some dry prasad, telling about the program. This is, and we are actually very blessed, like to be in Florida in this time. We don't have to worry about the snow. We don't have to have excessive snow jackets and snow boots and just think about, right? If we would have been in like upstate New York, it would have been a little hard to get out and plan all those things, right? Because of the snow and the weather conditions. But Kṛṣṇa has put us in a favorable environment. So when Kṛṣṇa is giving us more favorable opportunities, then we have more responsibility, is it not? We have more responsibility to not lose that chance, to not lose that opportunity. So thank you, Preeti Mataji, for inspiring us and sharing Gitas with your friends and contacts. Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol. So we'll continue this inspiration and stay strong. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Mahotsav ki jai, Śrī Prabhupada Marathon Month ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrī Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Also his
Hare
birthday.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji has birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, we should all celebrate, Madhu.
Hare
Oh.
Haribol.